the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Let's hear you in the pub, singing our song, helping and sharing the load. It's worth the point at home when we sing together. We're there at the end of the road. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? We have the team that's tops here at St Andrews. They're gonna give us what we're longing for. It's Birmingham forever, let's hear it from the stand. So come on, sing this song once more. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues.
Nick.
We love you, what more can we say?
It's of course Monday night. We're here every Monday through the pandemic, and of course we got not allowed in the studio just yet. As soon as that happens, I'm sure we'll all be back and be raring to go. All right, okay, so it's a Tilton Talk Show, 7:30 through to whenever, sponsored by Royal Sports, the principal sponsor of Birmingham City Football Club, and of course our good friends at SAS Autos and Bawdsey Labour Club, which is now open, by the way, Okay, we've got an absolute megastar in the room tonight with us, ladies and gents, a megastar. Nat Peters, welcome.
Welcome.
Sorry. And Paul Hipkiss.
Good evening, all.
A.K.A. Mr. Sheen, and of course the one and only Mrs. Brown. But more importantly, ladies and gents, we're bringing you tonight, and thanks ever so much for changing the dates for us, the one and only legend that is Maik Taylor. Mike, I was really, really grateful for not only your appearance tonight, my friend, but also for changing the date at such short notice, as Ridgers couldn't make it tonight. So thank you very much for that indeed.
No problem.
What an absolute ledge you were at the Blues, mate. Proper. We loved you. It was great stuff, man. Lovely, brilliant memories. Thank you very much. Loved it. Can't wait to get back. Do you go back there much now?
Unfortunately, not now, because obviously I'm still involved in the game. First team goal.
Okay.
Walsall.
Still involved with the game with Walsall.
Yeah. So that obviously coincides all the us playing as well at the same time. So unfortunately, no, not as much as I'd like. No.
Nice one. Oh, so no win for the Blues on the weekend with 95 minutes on the clock. We go and concede. So no points in the bag for us this weekend. On to the next one we go. As Nat said a little bit earlier, don't think we're going to get relegated, but we've got to be careful. We've got to be very, very careful. Paul, talk us through what you know about the game.
Yeah, well, we'll start with Huddersfield, shall we? Because obviously we've had two games.
Of course, we've had two, yeah. Yeah, beg your pardon, yeah.
Huddersfield, I must say, is probably the worst I've seen for a long, long time. It was just one of them where the lads were just off it. Everyone was off it, and it was probably best. The less said about it, the better. I mean, at 1-0, Djukovic did have a good chance, though, didn't he? A good header to score from, and unfortunately, you put your house on him putting that in. But unfortunately, didn't go in for him, so went over. But I do think, though, that their guy dived for the penalty. I didn't think it was a penalty at all when Harley Dean went in. He shouldn't have gone in like he did, but I don't think he touched him.
Nah.
So if he doesn't touch him, if there's no contact, then is that a penalty?
Well, no VAR, so the referee's decision was final. That's that.
Yeah.
Can't change it.
No. I mean, the better team won on the night, though. I'm not complaining a lot because we deserve what we got. And then second half, obviously Camp saves the penalty to save us even more. Obviously conceding even more, and then the defending as well for the other goal was was very poor as well. So less said about Huddersfield, the better. So we'll move on to Fulham. Much better performance. Defending at
Fulham, sorry about Paul, but the defending against Fulham was absolutely unreal. Camp save, my God.
Yeah, the double save.
Michael Tatler, isn't it?
I think we were much more astute at the back with Roberts and Clark Sauce. Obviously, Roberts has been our best centre half all season anyway. I do think we should have had a penalty at Fulham. It was a handball as well, but we don't seem to get them. So that's another obviously another one that we don't get, along with the baggies as well.
Well, one was given through VAR off the shoulder over the weekend, wasn't it? Off the top of the shoulder.
Yeah. Well, we get these decisions obviously in our favour with VAR, but unfortunately we don't have VAR in the Championship. So and I'll probably come across as I'm a big fan of VAR, which I do think it is needed in the game, but a lot of work needs to be done with it to make it right. You're never going to make football perfect, but I just think at the end of each game, to win or lose fair and square is what it's all about, isn't it? And that's what it's there for. But moving on anyway, we played so much better first half. We just didn't take our chances, unfortunately. And then obviously second half, he takes Beeler off for Harding, which invites Fulham onto us a little bit more. And then obviously they go and get the goal. And I think obviously the lads were pretty tired 95th minute, and no one was tracking the number 21. Reed, for the runner for the assist, and then obviously we go and concede a last minute obviously winner, which we didn't deserve at all. But overall, I think we're going to be fine. We just obviously need to see out the motions now the rest of the season, and hopefully we can get somebody in to take us forward.
Right, okay, we're going to go to Mike now. Mike, how do you pull off a double save like that so quick? I mean, the reaction speed was just lightning.
I haven't actually seen it, to be honest, but by all accounts, Campbell's had a great game in that game, and it's going to be needed in the remaining games of the season for sure. I did, however, watch the Huddersfield game, and first time when I thought there was some alarm bells here, like wasn't on the eye at all, and I thought we could be in a bit of trouble. But I just think it's going to be really important that maybe in the next couple of games we have to get 3 points from somewhere just to take a little bit of the pressure off. But it's not going to be easy. I think Swansea the next game, and they've got an outside chance of getting in the playoffs. So that's going to be really tough. But they are, there's always one team, unfortunately, that you think you're safe, you think you've done enough, and then you get into a bit of a free fall, and then it's hard to turn things around. But I do believe we've got more than enough. We've got goals in the side. I think we've got more than enough to get to see us over the line, and then we can kind of regroup and get together, get the new manager in, and then take on next season.
From a goalkeeper perspective, though, when you pull off an absolute worldie, does it feel like you've just scored a goal or something? Like wow, I've just done that.
Yeah, it's great for the confidence and everything else. Camp is very, very experienced. He's been there. He's played so many games of football. I think I read a stat the other day. It's the most games in the Championship of any player, something like that. So bags and bags of experience. So I don't think he'll get phased too much. Obviously, it's nice to make the saves as long as it helps your team out. I think that's the key to it. I never took any satisfaction out of making a couple of great saves and we lose the match. It's just, but if it helps your team and you manage to get a draw from it, I'd rather not have anything to do and the team win the game. Do you know what I mean? So
you're the last man standing, though, aren't you? You know what I mean?
But he did very well and very nearly, got a point for the club, and fortunately it wasn't to be. Couldn't hang on in there in the end. But the signs from the Huddersfield games are much better performance. So
we hit the woodwork twice as well.
Yeah. So it's just the way it's going. When you get into the fight at the bottom there, things just go against you, and it's just strange how it works like that. But just keep working hard, keep believing, and go again on the next game.
Mike? Would you change it now? Would you if you was obviously running the club now, would you change Pep now for somebody else to give him a bit more time, or do you think we're doing the right thing seeing out the season with him?
I wouldn't say there's alarm bells ringing. I'm if I'm being brutally honest, I'm a bit surprised that, and I don't know why I haven't read too much into it and why they've made the announcement already. But they have done. Whether that takes a little bit away from, how the players maybe respond to him knowing that he's leaving at the end of the season. It might have a factor in it. So the margins are so fine, and just that one little 0.5% from a few different players can be the difference between getting a win or just nicking a draw. Do you know what I mean? So subconsciously, I mean, do you know what I mean? I'm not labelling anything against any of the players, but kind of subconsciously, you just drop your levels just slightly, and then things go against you, and then it's hard to get it going again. But I've seen enough to believe, genuinely believe that we'll get over the line, and then can rebuild next season.
I think the big thing, you don't want to revel in anything like this, but I think the big thing that's going to help us, being brutally honest, is what happened with Wigan last week. Them going to administration. Obviously, that means they're effectively 12 points down. Then take into account, if they're 12 points down, they've got to finish 12 points ahead of us. So obviously, for us to be in any danger, along with Barnsley and Luton suddenly stringing results together. And I think Barnsley and Luton are both 9 or 10 points off. I just don't think the maths. I think the maths probably just about see us safe. Regards to Pep obviously staying, my understanding is, because I see it on social media, people are saying, why did he just walk away now? But my understanding is he wanted to walk away. Obviously, when it was first announced, the club have asked him to stay on. So then the question is now, why would he walk away, potentially from a decent financial settlement from his point of view? But more to the point, what is the point in the club rushing an appointment when they've got somebody in there? Okay, it's not ideal, because I think the players have, to a certain extent, taken the foot off the gas a little bit. You can obviously, Pep, especially after the Huddersfield game, looked like he didn't particularly want to be there. But if you've got someone to see out the season, as I said last week on the show, when I would sooner the club have him there basically as just a stopgap and take the time to find the right appointment, rather than make the wrong appointment just for the sake of replacing him.
Can I just add to that? Liverpool didn't take the foot off the gas the weekend.
Good news.
Well, I did.
I think
they only scored 2.
Chris, I'm going to go off camera now because I've got something to read on my notes, and I've only got the one phone tonight, so I'll be back on camera in a bit. But if you could listen to this, ladies and gents, I'll... From one of our lovely Australian supporters, stayed up tonight for the game. I was feeling quite positive that we could get a win against Huddersfield. 3 a.m. now, working a couple of hours and too many questions that need answering. What is going on at Blues? Absolutely spineless tonight. One of the worst performances of the season. This is a Huddersfield game. The defence has been absolutely shocking. Nothing in the middle, and even less in the final third. Harley Dean sorted out. Too many mistaken passes. Terrible penalty to give away. Discipline yourself, mate. You are meant to be the leader of the club, and your performance does not warrant the armband. Pep, sort this ramble out by the weekend, or at least have a plan B. I would prefer us to shut up shop than concede 6 goals in 2 games against struggling sides. We are getting ourselves dragged into a dogfight we do not need to be in. Every player and member of staff need to be accountable. Change the attitude and show you care for this shirt. This is not the Birmingham City we know. We are fighters. Good night, noses in the UK, and good morning, noses in Australia. Keep right on. Now, there was that one. And also, hi, is there any way that who comes to talk tonight could donate a signed shirt and start from 10 quid bidding for the Blues coach for the ladies who has incurable cancer? It's gone into his leg now, as well as kidneys, and he can't be operated on because of the way he is. He has a 3-year-old son who can't see at the moment. He has to go into isolation. The drug he can have will let him live for much more, but it's not on the NHS. So this drug is over £1,000. Being told to go on for a 6-month, he feels embarrassed for asking for money, as he has no income. Chris, Nick, could we all help? Please, Dean Prentice is only 28, so young to die. Please, can you ask
Dreadful story.
Taylor if he's got something to donate so that the bidding can raise money to help him buy this drug? Thank you. Lots of love, Brenda.
So Nick, just on that Brenda comment, we do have a signed shirt that's been donated to us to auction off or raffle off. But I just need to make contact with the person who donated it first, really, just to tell her what we're going to do with it. But otherwise,
just put your life into perspective. 28 with a 3-year-old child, doesn't it? You know what I mean? And you're
it's no age. It's horrible.
No.
Horrible. But,
all so often as well.
It is, yeah. But now we'll get something sorted on that in the
Super.
next couple of weeks or so.
Bless you. Thank you very much indeed. Because our lot out there are just so generous. What a massive family we've got. Big Blues families. They're so generous, such lovely people. Can't wait to get back to see you all. I'm absolutely pulling what little bit of air I've got left out. Look at it. It's nearly gone now, Chris. It's nearly gone.
Nick, we need
That's a feeling.
We need to also plug the Accessi Blues drive to get money for the Blues Community Project as well.
Yes, of course we do. Of course we do, because they're our best friends of the show. Our friends at Accessi Blues.
Yeah, hopefully someone will put up the link for that, please.
Yeah, Linda, get on it.
Or Craig or anybody. I'm really quiet apparently. Oh, there we go.
Mike, what was it like? Being in front of the Tilton.
It's I remember experiencing coming and playing at St Andrews when I was at Fulham, and the atmosphere and the way that the support got behind the team was something that that stayed with me. And when I had the opportunity to come and sign for Blues, that was
we're a nice bunch of beggars, aren't we?
It's a big factor. It's incredible. Do you know what I mean? It really does. Coming out the tunnel there and then running down the other end. It's it makes your hair stick up on the back of your neck. It's brilliant when the place is rocking and it's full, which obviously in the early part of the years, I had the good fortune of playing in the Premiership when we had full houses every week. It was some atmosphere and very hostile for the opposition and brilliant for us.
Beautiful.
And it was 2003, wasn't it, Mike? You signed for us.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And you was with us until 2011. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. So the first
that's a long time.
It was a year's loan, and then as long as we stayed in the Premiership, and I was guaranteed another 4 years after that. So
yeah,
it's.
What a time! Be a Blues fan though.
The one thing I was going to try and ask there, obviously you mentioned being in the Premier League, then being in the Championship. Obviously you went through both promotions and relegations. What did you prefer as a player? Did you actually prefer being in a Premier League team, maybe at the bottom of the league, or would you prefer being in the Championship side at the top? What's better for you?
I know what I'm saying, because I've had this so many times from supporters, and they're like, "I would rather be winning in the Championship." But as a player, you're ambitious. You want to play at the highest level, and then you can't beat going to Anfield, going to Old Trafford, and these places. And yeah, they're very daunting, but that's part and parcel that comes with it. You want to compete against the best teams in the world, and you can't beat that. The Championship's it's relentless. Premiership's kind of you play every week, but Championship is Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. It is a long, hard slog.
It's brilliant from a supporter's point of view.
Yeah. I'd be very surprised if any footballer says they would rather play the Championship than the Premiership. But I fully understand what you mean as a supporter. You want someone that's winning games and challenging at the top end of the Championship rather than at the lower end of the Premiership. I totally get that. But.
What would you say was your best moment at St Andrews?
My best moment. The first season I've just enjoyed so much. We had an unbelievable team ethic, team spirit in that dressing room. On paper, it wasn't great on the eye. Do you know what I mean? With all due respect to all the players, but we all dug in. Great camaraderie. We produced results from nothing, and it was just the feeling to have your backs to the wall and come out with that group of lads was a very special feeling.
That's all we asked for.
Absolutely. That's all anyone can ask for. And I say that now to.
I've got goosebumps. Look at that.
Yeah, I say that to the young lads at Walsall and stuff like that. I said all any fan will. No one ever begrudged Wayne Rooney earning his $300,000 a week because he wore his heart on his sleeve, rolled his sleeves up, and ran. And yeah, it's physically hard, but it's the easiest thing to do as well. If that makes sense. So everyone can forgive you misplacing a pass. They can forgive you, not having your best day at the office, but they can't forgive you not putting in a shit for the team. That's the bare minimum. So Sav was typical of that. He's his own worst critic, and he accepts that he wasn't the greatest player in the world, but boy did he put in a shift. You know what I mean? And he kind of dragged the team with him, as well. So.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah. And that first season that you played for us was for Sal's season, wasn't it? When he scored 17 Premier League goals, was it?
Yeah, Mikel was unbelievable finisher. He was like teetotal, hardly ever went out. He used to take a bag of balls to the training ground on a Sunday by himself and just stick the mannequins in the goal, and we'd be practicing left foot, right foot. It's no secret. It's just down to his hard work and appetite for the game and design. He had problems with his knees at the time. Every day he's coming from training, his knees would swell up. He'd be sitting there for half an hour with the ice packs on, but then he'd go again the next day, and he deserved everything he got. And I believe without his knee problems, he would have gone on and on, for sure. So, but he had a fantastic career anyway. Don't get me wrong, but He was brilliant for us. He could score.
Paul will run you through the U1 to 11 very shortly. Now, are you still in touch with any of the old players?
Ben Foster, I speak to. Obviously, he's very busy. He's signed a new 2 contract, still going very well at Watford. Stephen Carr's over in Spain. I think it was Blues. Obviously, Stephen Clement's still in the game with Steve Bruce. Followed him around. I think just a lot of it's on kind of social media. We just kind of keep touch. Someone will post something, kind of like it, and have a quick 2-minute, to and fro with the messages and stuff like that, asking how they are and stuff like that. But everyone goes off in different walks of life. Do you know what I mean? It's difficult. People move around. But all my kind of friendships in football have grown once we've kind of moved clubs and separated, and then you keep in touch with the ones that you endear to. Do you know what I mean? And you have good times with, even though there's no kind of bad eggs. In my whole career, I can't think of anyone that I really don't like. They're all great lads, but you kind of bond and build a relationship. Football, you can be with someone for one season, rarely ever sort of socialise with them because you're busy with work and people have got families, and actually you go in and train for an hour and a half, 2 hours, go home and see your families, and you don't actually get to know someone so much, so it's it's hard to bond and form really close relationships that are going to last forever. So a lot of them are formed kind of after football, I
mean, Mike, there's that cliche about the goalkeepers union. Do you tend to bond more with goalkeepers, or
we do at the club and stuff like that, not necessarily away from the club, but there most certainly is a goalies union. There's been very few that I've ever had a problem with in that respect. We all kind of appreciate that only one can play, and it's the manager's choice. It's not my decision. It's not his decision. We both equally want to play, desperate to play, and the manager can only pick one. So we're respectful in that way. So we'll always train hard and push each other and train as hard as you can, and then you can be ready if you get your opportunity. At the same time, if you're doing great, in training and stuff like that, you're pushing the one who's got the jersey to perform, because he knows that if he doesn't, you're there ready and waiting. Then and he produces and does very well. Then that's the only little bit of satisfaction you can take from it, because ultimately you train hard all week long. You want to play on a Saturday. That's what it's all about. But unfortunately, the goalkeeper only one can play on a Saturday. That's it.
Nick, I've just had a confirmation from the lady who donated the shirt, Heather, and she says yes, we can use it for that lad.
Bless her. Thank you very much indeed. That's marvellous.
And I'll put a picture up of the shirt in about 5 minutes as well.
We do a lot of tea over the years, and you know what? These people are so lovely out there. They're so giving and they're so generous. They really are.
Oh, fantastic.
The previous conversation actually leads nicely onto this question from Jason Hughes. Mike, he said that you were replaced as first choice keeper at Fulham and Blues by some great keepers, Edwin van der Sar, Ben Foster and Joe Hart. But who, in your opinion, do you think was the best?
That's a really tough question. I would have to go Van der Sar just because of kind of his stature in the game, what he'd done. He'd won a Champions League medal, and he was at Fulham for 4 or 5 years, then went on and just, it was like it was just made to measure. Like him going into Man United team was the perfect match. The way he could play with his feet, so comfortable, left and right feet. As good as anyone I've seen with his feet. But he's just I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone, because they're all outstanding, top draw goalkeepers. But they're all very much different as well. They're all unbelievable in certain aspects, and they've got areas that still brilliant at, but not quite as good as the other ones. You know what I mean? So, but they're all fantastic lads. All three of them are brilliant lads. I can't speak highly enough of them on the training field and as a person, and from performances that I've watched them play from the bench, unfortunately. But no, that's just the way it was. So.
And what do you make of what goalkeepers are being asked to do nowadays, like rolling it out from the back and playing as a sweeper keeper? And You know, obviously Ederson yesterday got a bit caught out, you know, trying to play centre half.
It's kind of the way football's going at the moment. But you know, you go lower down the league, they still don't. You know, with all due respect, if you're playing in Man City's team, players are making themselves available to get on the ball for you. And they've got the best touches in the game, so they've every confidence to give them the ball. You know, but with all due respect, if you're playing in League Two, to go and give it to your centre half, it's there's a reason why he's playing in League Two. Do you know what I mean? So you know, different managers bring you know, have different philosophies. Do you know what I mean? But the game is going more that way now, and certainly, you know, Man City's remit for their recruitment for goalkeepers. You know, shot stopping is like 6th or 7th down the list. It's like, can he handle the ball with his feet? Is number one, which just baffles me. Like, you know, it's just one of them. But look, Ederson's unbelievable. Like, he's different class. But that's the way of the world now. Every keeper now have got this sidewinding kick that I can't even coach. I can't even get the hip up there to actually. But they're growing up now. So they're doing it from year dot. As soon as they pick up a pair of goalie gloves, they're actually kicking the ball now. So which we didn't used to do when I was coming through. So the game is changing dramatically, and I think for the better as well. I think Man City conceded the goal against Southampton the other night, where he's been caught off his line because he's kind of playing sweeper keeper, you know. So, but that's what Pep wants, you know. So Pep will be the first one to go and put his arm around him. So don't worry about it. You keep doing what you're doing, because that's what I want. So.
Just a quick one on that. What a finish that was by Shea Adams.
Yeah, Shea's goal for Southampton, wasn't it?
The view
Absolutely
from
unbelievable.
behind the ball, it's going 5 foot outside the post, and to bend it around back in, it's fantastic. And that was his first goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm so happy for him, because he's got a bit of sticks going down there, and obviously it's his first goal. But what a way to get it, and I hope he gets
absolutely
more.
And then to go on and win the game is fantastic. Yeah, brilliant.
Good stuff. Any questions from our listeners, Paul?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I've got a few here.
Thank you very much.
So, Siobhan Kenny has said in 2004, I think it was 2003 actually, Siobhan, but in 2004...
he's always at it.
We played Manchester City, where you saved 2 super saves. What was going through your head after both saves, and what did Savage say? What did Robbie Savage say to you after? So I think that was from Sibierski, wasn't it? The header that she was referring to.
Yeah.
One of the best saves I've ever seen.
After I made the second save, I was praying that Darren Purse didn't smack it into the goal with his left foot. It was an unbelievable clearance underneath the crossbar with his left foot and put it out for a corner, I think it was.
Because that's the funny thing about that. I said that to Darren the other week. He did actually like it on Twitter. I said, that video gets shown every now and then. It got shown again. Yeah. And the funny thing is, he nearly scores an own goal after you've done that. He nearly shanks it into the net. And I was like, you'd have probably crucified him if that had actually gone in the net after wasting that save of yours.
I was actually disappointed because I think it was John Macken has spun and hit the first one, and I've read it and I've almost dived a little bit beyond it, and I've tried to get my knee out of the way to gather it into my body, but it's hit my knee and gone back out to Sibierski. So then he's got the header in. So I was a bit disappointed with the first one, but then luckily it was you know, just enough for the fingertip onto the post, and then. Darren Purse, unbelievable save. But like I said earlier, you know, it would have been an irrelevant save to me if we'd have gone and lost the game, but we drew the game 0-0. You know, and it's a valuable point for us, and you know, Kevin Keegan being a former manager of mine, so that was pleasing as well. But yeah, another point towards a good season for us, you know.
Yeah. So what did it say to you then?
Sorry?
What did Robbie say to you?
I can't remember what Robbie said, but Steve McManaman said something like, what do you think you're doing? You know, it was him that I remember saying something for, and then Sam was just a bit kind of well done, like, you know, and I'm now like, look, let's defend this corner now. We haven't cleared up yet. So, it was Steve McManaman that kind of said, you know, what are you playing at, kind of thing. Said well done or whatever, but Sav was Sav, like he'd be the first one to come and hammer me if I hadn't saved it properly. So.
Yeah. Paul Gill's asking, if you could play outfield, what position do you think you would be best at?
I actually didn't go in goal until I was 19, believe it or not. I was always an outfield player, and it's only when I was in the army that I got persuaded to go in goal by accident. So I was a striker, then obviously never good enough to make it professionally, but I played as a striker, for many a year, So, yeah.
So up front then, yeah.
You can't you ask any keeper, they'd love to play outfield in the 5-a-sides and bang some goals in. Absolutely,
yeah. Brett Johnson, though.
Sorry,
when you were in the army, you weren't persuaded to go in goal. You were told to go in goal.
yeah.
It was an order. How weird is it that something as strange and as simple as that has changed your life completely?
Yeah, I finished basic training. There's just a huge puddle in the goal mouth, and I'd gone along for trials for the regiment team, and the keeper wouldn't dive in the puddle. So just for banter, I said, "I'll give the gloves here," and that was it. Never looked back really.
So Mike, just a quick one. How do you end up from the army into league football? Because that's an unusual step.
I started playing a non-league football. I started off with Petersfield United, then I went to Canberra Town in the National League as it is now for my second season straight away. Didn't get straight into their first team, so I went on loan to Basingstoke and played a few games there. And then Farnborough was struggling, so they called me back, and we finished the season there. We were bottom of the league anyway. Ended up getting relegated, but then I stayed with them the season after that. We got promoted straight back to the National League. Had another season there, and then Ray Clements was manager at Barnet, and he gave me a call over the summer and said that he's had scouts watch me all season. The report's been very good. He hasn't actually had the chance to watch me himself. When I got there June time for a 2-hour training session with him, and he had a couple of apprentices up there. Worked for 2 hours, and then he obviously liked what he saw and asked how to go about getting me out of the army, and would I like to have a go at it, as a professional. So that was it.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history, yeah.
Just a quick one. Obviously, your first manager in league football. I'm guessing that's a good one to learn from as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we they couldn't afford a full-time goalie coach at that time, so I used to do a small warm-up, join in with the lads, but then each day after training, I'd ask Ray if we could do another half an hour, 45 minutes, just pure goalkeeping, and he was obviously very, very keen to do that with me, and just got a couple of the young boys over to help serving, but I learned so much more from actually analysing the games. So we used to watch the videos and of the goals conceded, and because as games go on, when you kind of lacking experience, you see a picture in your mind that you believe is right, but when you actually see it again and you go over it, sometimes you don't understand stuff. So we used to sit down in his office and he used to talk me through it and say, well, and sometimes just by a bit of communication and moving a defender, one step to his right could prevent something, putting him in the right position, just things like that. And over time, obviously, the more games you play, more experience you get, and you learn more in adversity, making mistakes. Unfortunately, that's part and parcel of football, especially as a goalkeeper. You're going to make mistakes as you go along. It's important. Don't let it affect you. Don't dwell on it. But you learn from them and try not to repeat them anymore, if possible. But you don't. It's difficult to actually put on game-related stuff in training sometimes. If that makes sense. So you only learn from things, having playing matches and gaining the experience in that way. Sorry.
Just looking back a couple of minutes, which regiment were you in?
Sorry?
Which regiment were you in?
I was in the REME, Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers.
Yeah. Aldershot?
I was a mechanic. Near Aldershot, yeah, but a little village Borden just outside, 20 minutes outside.
Well.
Yeah. You've kind of answered the next question, Mike, but I do want to read it anyway, because it's Lisa Field saying her 8-year-old son Ryan wants to know what made you want to be a goalkeeper. But you've kind of answered it in a roundabout way.
I wasn't. But then I obviously had no chance of becoming a professional as an outfield player. I just wasn't going to be good enough. I'd kind of reached my level really. And then I had a little go at it, and I'd never tried it before. But all my kind of things come together. There's a great book called Bounce that Matthew Syed writes, and it's about these 10,000 hours of obsessive training and stuff. And I was obsessive with my training, with the army background and everything else, and did really want to do well. But like my discipline in athletics was high jump, so I could jump already, and just loads of these little things. You know, I'm a bit of an all-round sportsman. I pick up things quite quickly.
Yeah.
And you know, no one ever taught me to catch a ball. I could just do it. And then when they start talking about this W formation, I had no clue what they're talking about. You know, you just kind of just catch the bloody thing. You know, it's but it was once I got in there, and I was in adults football, because look, when you're 8 years old, it's difficult to get a kid. You know, if he's in a good team, playing at that level, he's freezing cold. He has nothing to do in these games. I've got a 21-year-old son now. He's only been playing golf 2 years now, but he was always out. I was just running around, play outfield, and that's good practice for goalkeepers these days. Anyway, is being comfortable on the ball.
Yeah.
You know, but don't take it away from your child. If he's desperate to be a goalkeeper, absolutely let him go ahead.
You're right.
You can develop later on as a goalkeeper as well. I mean, it's not. I don't think you can go the other way so much, but you can certainly do it that way. Yeah.
Sure. And Stephen Gill's asking, what is your favourite goalkeeping performance in a blue shirt?
It'd have to be that Man City game.
The Man City game,
It'd have to be that Man City game, because it wasn't just that. You know, everything just one of them days where you look back at it and you think, "Geez, I was really lucky then."
Yeah.
Just things, sometimes you can't explain stuff, and just, you know, things are just close enough for you to get your fingertips on it. Other days they're a centimetre the other way, and it goes past your fingers. You know, it's just sometimes you can't explain it. You just don't feel you're going to get beaten that day. Lady luck's with you. That plays a big part in anything. All you can do is prepare the best you can do. Train as hard as you can. Prepare the best you can do, and then it can be a refereeing decision. It can be, you know, human nature that we're going to make an error along the way, and people can forgive that as long as you show you care, give it your best, and then what will be will be. You know. So.
Yeah.
Can't be much worse having to turn around and face the Tilton and pick that ball out of the net.
It must be awful.
The next one's a funny comment. It's not really a question, but I want to read it anyway. Ross Bonington saying, I remember seeing Mike with his kids at the NIA for a WWE event many years ago. He was sat 2 rows in front of me, but I was too scared to go and speak to him.
I remember that, because it was the Undertaker. All the lights dimmed and went down, and the boys were absolutely buzzing, and then the Undertaker just kind of appeared in the ring, and everything went off, and he was just this giant of a figure in there, like, and the boys are buzzing about it. I remember that time. Yeah, it's good.
Mike,
sorry,
I've got one quick question. Obviously, we mentioned already that you've said to yourself.
Sorry, Nat, just 1 second, mate. Nat, just 1 second. Mike.
Yep.
Can you do that hello now?
Do what? Sorry.
He was too scared to say hello to you. Just say hello to him back.
Oh, hello.
What's his name?
Go on, Nat.
I mean, you mentioned that obviously alarm bells, watching Blues, alarm bells are ringing when you watch the Huddersfield game. I mean, you've sadly been in a couple of teams, I think, that got relegated. From the inside, can you tell quite early on that the team looks like it's in desperate trouble, or does it only really hit home in the final weeks as you're fighting relegation? Oh my word, this really is going to happen? Or do you kind of see it early on as a player?
Great question.
Yes, good question. It's a difficult one to answer as well. The first time that we got relegated, there's so much going on away from the football. It was a big distraction. I know as professionals you can't let that happen, but there's no question, you know, it does become a big distraction. But you just get into free for all, and it's hard to re-energize and get because your confidence just ebbs away week after week, and then you look, especially in the Premier League, you're looking at your fixtures and you think, right, you know, we've got you know, Wigan at home, right, we have to win that one. You only get a draw, and then you look at your next 4 fixtures and you've got Arsenal, Chelsea, mate. You're like, wow, it's tough going mentally, grinds you down, and then the so-called, you know, lesser teams with the better opportunity to try and get points come around again. and then you're low on confidence, and the pressure mounts up and it builds up, and then you get dragged in. But the teams that have kind of been in the bottom 3, 4, 5 all season long, they're already prepared, so they're fighting, scrapping all the time. But when you're getting sucked into that, you believe that you're only a result away from getting out of it, and then you don't get that result, and then you have to go again, and you're trying to pick everyone else up. You need characters in that dressing room. You need a strong dressing room full of characters. And it's not, you can't have I see it too often now where it's a blame game. No one takes responsibility anymore. Everyone kind of, someone else's fault. It wasn't my man that scored the goal, but you could have gone and headed that ball. Yeah, but it wasn't my man. It doesn't go and head the ball away for the team, for your team. Yeah. Someone might be out of position. Someone might make a mistake or fall over. Be in a position where that's where Kenny was so good, and he read the game so well. He was always in a position, and we had that team ethic. Everyone dug in for each other. It wasn't about everyone has to be pulling in the same direction together.
I must add there though that we never ever went down without a fight. Ever.
No,
we were relegated. We never went down without a fight.
So, and even the second time with where were we? Oh, the Spurs away when Fozzie played that season, and then we're a matter of a couple of minutes. I think we were drawing, and that was enough to see us up. And then Stephen Hunt scored a late goal for Wolves.
Well, the daft thing was that day I was in the away end, and I remember the players are lucky because obviously we're going berserk because we've heard what's happened. So, and we're saying to the players, "You've got to score. You've got to score."
That message,
and remember, the players are looking. The players looking blank. They didn't have a clue.
We thought a draw would be enough, and then the message kind of came on really late, and then it was kind of like everyone's just going to go for it, and then they hit us on the break and scored a second goal.
Which probably wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean that was that time. That was that moment when you've got to turn around and say, look, all out for leather. Let's do it. And if you get on a break, we're already not going to achieve what we wanted to achieve. So you may as well just go.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, but like I say, we never went down without a fight.
From the Huddersfield game, obviously, it was a big positive performance. I know the result didn't go our way, but it was a much better performance. So should Pep leave or not? He's obviously got a reaction out of the players. So maybe he should stay into the end of the season. Who knows?
So okay. So Brett, sorry.
Everyone inside have more of an idea than us. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's a right or wrong decision, because if he left right now, then whether it's guard steps in or whoever steps in, you may get you do sometimes get a reaction straight away. But the fact that they've put in a much better performance and very close to getting a point away at Fulham, it's not a bad result. Shows that he's still got the dressing room, so to speak, and
Brett Stanley's asking, do you think the criticism of Lee Camp is unfair? I mean, I don't think he's been criticised so much lately since he's come back in the team, but before that, he was get a bit of criticism. He has dropped clangers, they all do, but he saved our skin many times this season and last. So how many penalty saves? Personally, I do think the criticism is unfair. Is what he's saying.
I don't know how old he is now.
35.
Yeah. How is he?
35, I think.
34, is it?
35.
He's got so much experience. He's not phased. He's made mistakes as we all have throughout the course of our career, and he doesn't get phased by that. He just go again and go again. He has very good strengths, and he probably would admit that he's got weaknesses. But I think when you know what you're going to get every week from him, he's not going to be phased by a tough time towards the end of the season. He'll just keep going, and try and be as consistent as he can. And
I was as Larry the very first time I heard Lee Camp in the middle of Ogon. I thought, boom, he's just got the Blues fans on his side at that moment, and we sing that now every time he makes a worldie.
I actually think he obviously got dropped just before Christmas, which is the season just gone, and he came back in the new year. And I think actually getting dropped for a few weeks, most people wouldn't like this, but he did in the world of good. He came back and did absolutely fantastically. He'd probably been said before we came on, he's probably been our best player. Actually, since he came back into the team, not even since lockdown, but since he came back into the team, he's probably been our most consistent player. So sometimes players just need that, maybe a few weeks out, just to obviously look at themselves, keep themselves refreshed.
Good to know that there's competition there, and the manager's not afraid to make that call, because you can get complacent a little bit. You know, season's a long season; it's hard to maintain a level of performance throughout the whole of the season. Every player has a little lull, and unfortunately for a goalkeeper, it's highlighted.
It's no, yeah.
Brenda Brown says this is the Maik Taylor fan club. You're still looking sexy, Mike, from when you first came to Blues.
All that Botox.
You've got to keep an eye on Brenda, I'm telling you that now.
She does that to me, Chris.
No, you look rough.
Last couple of...
All right, Mike, let's talk about your international career now. How did you get into having an international call-up, and talk us about, how you felt?
I was playing at Fulham in League One at the time, and as it is now, and 28 years old, and I had a British passport which made me eligible for any of the home countries, and my mum's German, so I could to Germany, England, and then Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales.
So you could choose any one of those 5?
Yeah, but it's
chosen, not choosed.
It's not really my choice. If I'm playing in League One at 28 years old, the England manager's not going to come and ask me to play. So I had to be kind of realistic in where my career was at that stage. And 28 years old is it's not getting on for a goalkeeper, but it's I wasn't 22, 23. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of playing League One. So far away from ever playing for England or Germany. You need to be playing regularly in the Premiership, and Northern Ireland came in for me. I spoke to Ray Clements and for his advice, and I never looked back, and I thought I'm going to commit to Northern Ireland, and I'm going to give it my best shot and give it my full commitment, and that's what I did. I like to think the experience I gained with Northern Ireland, playing against the bigger nations, everything helped improve me as a goalkeeper, and then play more regularly in the Premiership. So I'm grateful. The most amazing time, and unfortunately we never qualified for any major championships. And then as soon as I retired, I fell straight into the goalkeeping role in Northern Ireland, and then we qualified for the Euros 2006.
Yeah. Mike, the one thing I was going to ask about Northern Ireland is obviously played for them the night. I think you were in goal the night they beat England.
That's right. Yeah. So
what was it like being back in the dressing room after?
End of the show, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, we played them at Old Trafford earlier on, and we were 0-0 at half time, and then as soon as they scored the first goal, then it was floodgates, and we ended up getting beat 4, and then we had them at Windsor Park, and we were at our lowest ebb then. We were really 27th in the FIFA rankings, and England was flying. Everyone came with all the players were available, Rooney, Beckham, everyone. So we knew it was going to be a tough night, but the pressure's off a little bit. And again, with Northern Ireland, the team spirit and camaraderie that we have, I think we had 3 players playing in the Premiership at the time, and the rest are all lower league players. So it's an incredible night. My 2 sons were mascots on the night.
Really?
And the girl with the mascots, my brother-in-law, Russell, he was looking after my lads as well. And the girl looking after the mascot, she said to my eldest, who was only 7 at the time, she said to him, so do you want to come out holding David Beckham's hand? He went, nah. My brother-in-law went, yeah, you do.
It was David Healy, wasn't it? Was it David Healy?
Out holding my hand, they had their hairs dyed green, and they came out, and then to win the game as well was just out of this world,
Was it Mike? Was it David Healy that got the winner? Wasn't it?
Yeah, David Healy.
Yeah. And did you did you have an idol yourself growing up as obviously a footballing idol yourself?
Kevin Keegan was my idol, and then once I come into goalkeeping, obviously I was fond of Pete Shilton, Ray Clements, as England goalkeepers, and Pat Jennings, obviously. But kind of my role model when I took up goalkeeping and tried to learn from was Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah.
I met Pat Jennings. I've never seen hands as big as all my life. They're like shovels.
I've seen them, yeah.
Proper. You know, I shook hands with him, and I could have put both hands in one hand of his.
Great guy. They all are really, really good. Really good people.
Yeah. We've got a brilliant live question coming from Ray Hobro. What did you prefer on Saturday, a haircut or a pint?
I know, yeah. I was in desperate need, so Saturday morning before I got a haircut just shortly before going for a pint. So it's a little bit cold around the ears now. I've had it all I'm hanging on for dear life, the last remaining strands. So
yeah. Sorry, Nick, was you going to say something then, mate?
Yeah, you and Paul and Nat alike.
Oh dear. Okay, so should we come on to your 1 to 11?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So you got so you got 4-4-2, was it?
4-4-2 I've gone for. Yeah. I've scrolled through lots of the lads and lots of the teams that I was involved in, and I could have had 3 11s. You know, it's just been quite fortunate to play with some great lads and great.
At least you know how difficult it is for a manager to pick a team there, then.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But in goal, I mean, you know yourselves how tough to choose between Fozzie and Joe. They were both had outstanding seasons, and you know, Fozzie had a brilliant season, and then to take it to the last day probably was the result on the back of him performing so well over the season. You know, otherwise it might have been over much sooner. You know, but I can't. The only way I'm going to separate them is Fozzie played in the cup final, so
yeah,
and then that's in the cup final. So he brings it for me. I think they're both different types of goalies, but both very, very effective and absolutely diamond lads. Really, really good lads, both.
Obviously, the one you didn't pick there, but do you reckon Joe Hart can get it back? Because obviously he's had a little bit of he's had a bit of a quiet time in his career.
I think his confidence maybe been knocked a little bit. You know, he's gone back. He's a great kicker of the ball. When he was at our place, you know what I mean? And then for Man City, but then Pep's just gone in there and gone on a different level. And for Joe Hart to be banded as being a poor kicker of the ball is nonsense in my view. So I think he's been very, very hard done by. So yeah, he's only 31, 32 now. Like, he should be playing another 5 or 6 years. I just can't for the life of me understand why he's not getting an opportunity somewhere. I'm sure he'll get fixed up now. Now he's free from Burnley. He'll get fixed up by someone.
He seems like the sort of individual. Just obviously, I listened to an interview with him the other day, and just generally when he was at Blues, he seems like he needs to be enjoying himself to get the best out of him. He needs to actually be in a place where he is loved and he's kind of actually enjoying work rather than coming into work as a chore. I mean, is that something you probably agree with? Obviously, for anyone who spent time with him.
Ben says the same thing when he was at United. He didn't feel the same way as he does now, you know. So it's when you're playing at the very top like that, you know, that's where Van der Sar was so mentally strong. He can handle that, you know. If with all due respect, if we're playing for Blues and we get beat one week, you just dust yourselves down, you go again the next week. But when you're playing for a Man United, a Chelsea, or a Man City, the pressure to win every single game and any mistake is magnified tenfold. That mentally just drains you, you know. So, and if you've got world-class players all looking around saying, "Well, it's your fault we got beat last week," kind of thing, it's can't be a very nice place to be in, you know. Not a good dressing room, but they're all so obsessed with winning. Them boys. That's why they are the top players in the world. You know, it's just they just do anything to win games, and you just can't let them down. So I totally understand what he's saying like that, but he's a great lad, and he adheres himself to everyone wherever he's been. Everyone think really highly of him. Fans at every club that he's played at, you know, always give him great rapport, and he just needs another chance somewhere to continue his career. I'm absolutely convinced he will get something, and then we go again. Yeah.
Mm.
So the
back four.
The back four. Right back, Stephen Carr.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of candidates for that, but Stephen Carr came in to us in the Championship on the back of 8 months out in retirement. I think he was about 33, 34 at the time, and he was the fittest player at the club. He was just an absolute joke how he trained, and he was not coming to us for payday. He had that will to win, that desire, and he wouldn't suffer any fools at the club. He'd get them told, tell them they're not pulling their weight, and he's a great captain later on as well. Like, you know, he would never ask anything of anyone that he wasn't prepared to do himself physically or anything else. And it's just his qualities and his ability all round were just brilliant.
Yeah. He was a machine when he done that right.
He was an absolute machine. Given his age and everything else, he was frightening. Very, very good. Left back, I've gone for Liam Ridgewell.
Yeah.
He had one of the best springs I've ever seen. He was great because he was predominantly centre half, really, but we kind of moved into left back. He was great on the far post. You know, anything that got stood up on the far post there, he'd done everything. He was really calm in possession, and he got forward and contributed with a lot of goals as well. David Murphy was similar, but Bridge just edges it, and obviously, you know, he was part of the cup final winning side as well. So he was in there. So centre halves, that's a really tough one. I've gone for a centre half pairing rather than individual centre halves. So I've gone Kenny Cunningham and Matthew Upson was the best pairing for me. And like, you know, to leave Scott Down now, you know, Roger Johnson, all that. It's
just so many, though. Yeah.
But I thought they had the best understanding. And if you put them as individuals, with all due respect, Kenny probably would be at the bottom of that group of lads. But as a pairing, and the way he read the game, the way he led the line, the way he organised, he was just brilliant. He was always in the right place at the right time, and whenever he got cut short with his pace or whatever, Matty Upson was just so athletic.
Great player.
One of the quickest players at the club by a million miles.
That's one we've done yet, isn't it, Paul? We've not had Matthew Upson on yet, have we?
That side as well.
No.
Perfect.
Yeah. It was a Rolls Royce, wasn't he, Mike? Matthew Upson. I've said before on the show that he would move in today's market. He would be worth 60 million upwards.
Oh, absolutely. And I think someone said that when he come from Arsenal as a kid, I think there's only Thierry Henry was quicker than him. He was so quick. We used to have arguments in the dressing room because I felt that he used to mark players on the wrong side, and he'd be like, "Well, I trust my pace to get me out of the trouble." I'm like, "Well, just start there." So we'd be arguing, and then we get told off for arguing. It'd be like, but he was just, you know, because I hadn't experienced anyone with that kind of pace, so I was trying to do one thing, and he was like, "Well, you know, leave it to me," kind of thing. So, and he was.
Would you say he was the best centre half you ever played behind?
Yeah, Uppy's got to be up there for sure. Matty Upton's probably there, one of the ones. Chris Coleman at Fulham as well.
Very good player.
He had absolutely everything. Chris Coleman.
I mean, he's had a good career in management, but it was a shame for him how it ended as a player, wasn't it? Because he obviously had that accident.
When he had his car crash, and broke his leg and never fully recovered, unfortunately.
No.
But then managed the side the last 6 or 7 games of the season when I was there. And then carried on when I left to come to Blues. So
so that's a very good back four.
Yep. And then then I'm left midfield. I've gone left winger Stan Lazaridis. We could just get in the ball and he would just carry the ball and get us up the field, get us defending much higher. Just travel with that ball, and he had an unbelievable wand of a left foot to put the ball in the box. And with the strikers I've got in this team, he'd be perfect for them. So
he gets picked week in, week out, Mike. He does.
Yeah, he's a great lad. They're all great lads. Do you know what I mean? I don't need to kind of say that anymore. But on the right side, we've been quite blessed with, you know, Jermaine Pennant was great for us, but Seb Larsson's my pick. before. Unbelievable delivery. But he put in a shift for the team as well. He was so fit. He was up and down. He would be filling it right back, and then he'd be putting a cross in at top. Great qualities, and just never stopped running. And he weighed in with the odd goal as well from free kicks.
Well, that one at Tottenham, what was it like to be on the field when he put that in at Tottenham?
Oh, that was one of Alex McLeish's first games, wasn't it?
I think it was his first
game. Was his first game? Yeah.
Oh, but Seb could do that. That's what he's like. His right foot was just ridiculous. No, really good. Then I've gone. I've gone for holding midfielder. So two central midfielders, holding midfielder. I've gone for Barry Ferguson.
Yeah.
Playing in that role. I could have had Sav in there, but I think Barry would be a bit more disciplined than Sav. Sav kind of just covers everything.
Surely not.
We kind of have to fill in around him. Do you know what I mean? Where Barry read the game so well, broke up the play, and he's a great distributor of the ball. Great leader. Kenny Cunningham's my captain, but only because just because he wasn't off the field as well. He's a great captain for the lads in the dressing room. He's brilliant with the lads and everything. Not that Barry wasn't. Just saw a little bit more of Kenny. Kenny was a local boy, but with Barry, whenever he had some time off, he would go up to Scotland because his family were up there. So we didn't see him as much, but Barry equally could take the armband and be. But he'd be disciplined holding there. So, and then that will give David Dunn. He's probably the best player that I recall at Blues. And if it wasn't for injuries, he'd have played far more regular for England, in my opinion. Played with a smile on his face every day in training. He'd be banging goals in. He'd be nutmegging people. He'd be just absolute joy. Absolutely loved his football. And just so unfortunate with injuries.
I mean, just on the injuries, he played so many games for Blackburn before we signed him. He went to Blackburn and I think he had a couple of niggles, but he seems to do a lot better with the injuries. Was there anything in particular that you think, looking back, that we were doing with him that just maybe actually hindered him in a way that we didn't realise at the time?
I couldn't. You'd have to. I think that's a question you'd have to ask him. I'm sure he knew his body, and he didn't train any more or any less than what I didn't expect from anyone. So, but it was his calf and his hamstring. So sometimes, I mean, he was very quick, believe it or not. I don't think give him credit for how quick he was, and sometimes that catches up with you a little bit, But whether he's then gone to Blackburn and maybe not trained as frequently as he did with us, I don't know. Maybe managed his body a little bit better, I don't know. But he was hands down playing in that kind of number 10 role, like forward of Barry Ferguson. That would have been brilliant too there.
Yeah. I mean, that first season we went down, 06. If you think back, we had ups and out, injured quite a lot. Forsell, David Dunn, Muzzy Izzet couldn't stay fit either. If we'd have kept all them fit and on the pitch, I think we would have comfortably stayed up.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we were looking to kick on that season as well. I think we'd had a 12th finish, a 10th finish, and then we were looking to kick on, and it didn't materialise. And like I say, once you get into that free fall, it's really difficult.
I mean, in that dressing room, I mean, when you first came in, it was a lot of, shall we say, lads who come up from the lower leagues, journeyman sort of players, and then obviously by the time we got relegated that first time around, there was a lot more actually bigger names. Mm-hmm. In your opinion, was the bigger names coming? Was there maybe not that they cared less, but were they slightly more maybe relaxed, obviously on the way down rather than being on the way up, sort of thing?
Possibly an argument for that, because the type of players that we were bringing in, I don't recall them being in the relegation fight before. So we needed kind of three great examples: Lee Bowyer, Stephen Carr, and Barry Ferguson. Absolutely wore their heart on their sleeve and gave it their all. They weren't there for a payday. That they really, really cared, and they dragged a lot of people along with them. They were great lads, but that season there, I don't want to name names really, but I know what you're saying, and there probably were
you probably
players that, not intentionally, but just weren't ready for that scrap, and we're kind of looking beyond season and stuff, and feeling they were maybe too good to get relegated, and then you get sucked into it, and then it's tough to turn it around. You need some steel about you. That's a lot of the British players, kind of brought up with that, that mentality.
Yeah. So that's the midfield four then. So you got the midfield four, so back four, and then the front two.
So the front two, we've said Larson on the right and Stan Lazaridis on the left. I've got to go Heskey in there.
Yeah.
Zigic had done brilliant as well. Ziggy could have been in there as well, but Heskey was an absolute animal. He's so strong. He's just by far the strongest player. He's a really, really nice guy as well, but he was so strong and just doesn't get credit for how good he was. I think he's been labelled. Michael Owen says that Emma was his best ever strike partner.
Yeah. I mean, imagine him and Forsell if we could have kept Forsell fit.
Well, Forsell was my other one in the team. So Heskey was. I've never seen anyone bully defenders like Heskey could, and he would work hard. He chased lost causes. But a lot of the time, the way we set up was kind of a 4-5-1. He was having to do a lot of work on his own, and sometimes with no help at all. Things didn't work out for him, but I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And then obviously Mikel, for reasons I spoke about earlier, his finishing was second to none, and he was a fantastic player. And Dunny would be able to pick him out with his movement, be able to pick him out for fun. So
yeah. Can I just say as well, we've got a message off Leighton. I don't know if you can see it, Chris. Have you got it on the on our?
Yeah, I'll get it up in 2 seconds. If you just
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So this is the chap who was in a COVID ward for 59 weeks, was it, Paul? Or
59 days.
59 weeks. Oh, crikey. Just to let you know, I've still got work to do, but I am at home now. I insisted on walking out the hospital, not pushed in a wheelchair. I did it. The matron was a bit worried, but then she stood and clapped my determination. I think it's in my blue. I think it's the blue in my blood. My kids were in tears. They thought they were just picking my dirty washing up, and then they saw me walk towards them with my arms open. They just held me and cried, "Chloe, that comes to the Blues with me." Just would not let go. Thank you for all your support, my Blues family. Sorry, I got a lump in my throat. Thank you for all your support, my Blues family. It has been amazing. Thank you, Leighton. There you go.
Leighton, we're going to do our best to get you on that centre circle, mate, once we get back to normality.
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Excellent.
We'll do our best. We'll do our best to get him to walk out, whether it's half time or lead the team out or do something. We're going to do something that gives that man a memory.
Yeah.
Bless him.
Absolutely.
Well done, Leighton. Well done, Leighton.
Excellent. Well, yeah.
Yes. So Heskey and Forsell.
Sorry, boy, goosebumps. Look.
Yeah. Brilliant story. That is fantastic to hear. So Heskey and Forsell up front, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Forsell's movement and his finishing, Heskey perfect foil, and Dunny'd be able to find that Forsell all the time, and the wide boys would be great delivery for Heskey. That's Champions League squad. That is.
Yeah. It'd certainly comfortably stay in the Premier League, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, happy with that.
Definitely.
Yeah, very good team. Excellent.
Definitely.
Okay, Nick, you want to go anything else, Nick?
I think we're there, Nick.
I think we ought to have some predictions for Swansea.
Oh, crikey, yeah.
Oh, God.
Go on, Paul.
I'll start with you, Paul.
1-1.
Nat?
I'll be honest here, I think we're going to get it beat. I think we're going to get beat I'd say 2-1.
Chris Brown?
I always go for a win for us, but I'm afraid I'm going to go for a 1-0 Swansea.
I'm going 2-1 to Swansea, and Maik Taylor.
I'm going 2-1 Blues.
2-1 Blues.
Oh, I hope you're right, Mike.
You positive man, you.
Absolutely.
It'd probably be like us to just go and turn them over, wouldn't it, really?
Absolutely.
Yeah. There was a couple of fans' questions, just 2 more fans' questions I didn't read out. So this one isn't Blues related, Mike, but it's quite a funny one. So not a Blues related question, but at Fulham, how did you feel when you met Michael Jackson, and what was he like as a person?
Oi, you want to be starting something?
Oh! But the story is, he apparently Alfie had gone to America and met Michael Jackson for dinner, and then said, "Oh, you must come over to England and come and watch a game for us." So he agreed to do it, and by all accounts, he went shopping in Harrods, and Alfie had closed the whole department store from 11 till 1 p.m. the Saturday of the game.
Nah, don't hold with that.
For him to shop on his own.
I don't hold with that. Just a human being, mate.
Yeah.
He's so he's spent an absolute fortune that time. And then he's come to our game, and it's a red hot day, I remember, and he's walking around with his entourage. We're trying to warm up, and he's got an umbrella up, he's got a mask over his face and everything. And then he goes and sits with his Fulham scarf around with Alfie in the stand. And then after the game, we're all showering, and as you come in, it's like they're almost like porter cabins at Fulham, and there's a little entrance on the left where the showers are. So you come out the showers and then take a dry towel off the side and then walk into the dressing room. And so we're all half naked, having just showered and stuff, and about to get ready and go and see our families and stuff. And the doors burst open. Our fire's bowled in with Michael Jackson now, without his face mask or anything on. We're all half naked, and our fire's just shouted, "Hide your willies, boys!" Jack could just give it. Oh my god!
That's absolute quality.
But then we've all gone out on the pitch afterwards, and Jack was shaking all our hands, and then we've all got a personalised photo, the team photo with him in the photo, and he's signed them all for us and everything. So brilliant.
Nice.
Yeah. Ah, good stuff. And then Alan Watson saying two goals scored against you by Stan Lazaridis, and he's put Martin Granger, but it was Brian Hughes, if he's referring to the 2-2 when you played for Fulham against us. He's put, what are Mike's memories of those? And he's put, he thinks you are our best ever goalkeeper as well.
That's an accolade. Well done.
No chance.
Yeah.
Was one of them a free kick? I can't remember.
Yeah, Stans was a free kick.
Yeah.
Last minute.
I don't recall that too much, to be honest.
Yeah.
I remember for Fulham was
I'll tell you what, YouTube it after this show.
The same.
Remind yourself.
Tigana had just taken over at Fulham, and then we came a second. So it would have been Blues' first home game of the season, and Trevor Francis was the manager, and we came and won 3-1 at your place. And I think you may have kicked off actually. We turned over possession, and we had 25 passes and scored.
Yeah.
Louis Sahar.
3-1.
Louis Sahar, yeah.
And Trevor Francis said it's the best away performance he's ever seen in his life, and he'd already seen the champions, and we did end up being the champions that year. Going up.
Was that the night? Obviously, I know you didn't deliberately crack him, but was that night you were involved with Jeff Horsfield, and he did his knee, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think he scored, and then there's a collision afterwards. Yeah, that he'd done his knee. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he got two in the game I'm referring to, the 2-2. Jeff got both goals for Fulham.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 2-2 draw.
Normally, if an horse gets it, you normally put it down, don't you?
Yeah, we had Jeff and Barry Howers at that time. Jeff and Barry Howers, they were a handful for anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff was surreal in that he could have 20 pints and then be the top runner the next day in training. It's like, he was not a professional athlete as you'd call it, but how he got the energy that he got, because he just did not stop running. His backspin ran so strong, but just so raw. Loved every game, and you know he's had a fantastic career and done a hero every. Yeah. So.
And did you ever come close to scoring in your career, Mike?
My only opportunity was it was the night of 9/11 when all that happened.
Oh,
yeah, I was playing for Fulham. We were playing Rochdale away. I'll never forget it. And we're watching everything unfold on the news in the afternoon while we're in the hotel. Yeah. And we're all thinking, no, is the game going to go ahead? Is it not? Is it not? And the game went ahead, and we're 2-2. I think we equalised with the last kick of the game, and then it went to penalties. And we had Steve Malbronk in our team, and he refused to take a penalty. And he's gone into the dugout, kicked his boots off. This is like a French international, and he's got the towel over his head, doesn't want to know. Thinking it's so bizarre. Like, surely you'd come up and take a penalty for us. But he never. So we go through the penalties. They've missed one, we've missed one, and then we go to sudden death, and we haven't even spoke about who the sixth penalty taker is going to be. So they take their penalty, I save it, So then I'm looking over. So Lewis Beaumortis, our captain, hasn't taken one. So he's just shouting from the pack of our lads, "You have it! You have it!" All right, yeah. I just need to. I've just saved one to just score it. We're through. So I placed the ball, and I've got 10 different in my mind. I'm thinking, oh my, the goal now is so small. I'm like, run up, and I've kicked the floor, hit the ball, and it's bounced twice straight down the middle of the goal. The keeper's dived. This is Jenna. The keeper's dived. It's hit his toe, rolled across the line, hit the post, and stayed out.
Oh no!
That was my moment of glory. So they have the next penalty. I saved that one, fortunately, and then Morty steps up and scores. They all run off to the corner to our fans to celebrate, and I just headed straight on to my one time I could have scored. Yeah, that was it.
I'll be honest with you. I think that's shocking from people like Boa Morton's to email Brank that they can't take a penalty at Rochdale.
I did fancy myself, to be fair, but it just didn't happen. So it's just one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, just on another subject for a second, Paul. I've got to pay credit to Birmingham City supporters who gathered in Birmingham this weekend on the march against racism. Well done, all of you. There was English people, there was Asian people, there was black people, there was everybody. And you know what? We are not a racist football club. We are not a racist football club. And well done to every single one of you. Your social distance, it was awful, by the way, but well done to every single one.
There was a big number there.
Birmingham City is diverse. End of.
I couldn't believe how many were there. Yeah, loads. Very good.
That's the first keep right onto the end of the road I've heard for 3 months over.
Nick, where's the time gone? Where has the time gone, Nick?
I don't know, mate. 8:45 already, guys. Blimey.
It flies, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Should we go till 9? Should we go till 9? Or
no, I can't. We need to go sort of like soon, really.
Okay, that's fine. So, Mike, who was the best manager you ever played for?
That's a really tough one. Lots of managers are. My son's going to knock on the door now. Lots of managers. Steve Bruce, a great man managers. You know, Alex McLeish, great man manager. Then Graham Souness, Kevin Keegan, Ray Clements. But I'll just have to pick Jean Tigana. Because
really, yeah.
The first time I had it was a real eye-opener where we had the proper kind of sports science that was involved at the club, and the way he approached the game. And then that season, the championship, I think we finished 105 points and just decimated everyone. It was joy to play for, and I thought it was fantastic. But that's no disrespect to all the other ones.
No,
great. You're running through a brick wall for all of them, for sure.
Yeah, I remember Horse actually was on a podcast I listened to a few months back, and he said he wasn't actually there very long. I think Tigana sold him, but he said that Tigana was actually light years ahead of everybody else at that time.
Yeah, no, for sure, yeah.
Well, what can I say? Blimey, the time has beaten us.
Where's that time gone? That's flown, hasn't it?
It's been an absolute joy, and I mean that, mate. I promise you, I mean that, Mike. It's been a joy and a pleasure to have you on tonight, and we're so grateful for you changing everything at short notice.
Thank you.
We knew you were a little bit nervous, but I hope you felt relaxed, because all we are, we're just three or four football fans, normally in a room, right? And it is honestly so good to keep in touch with our ex-players, find out what they're doing, you know, the funny stories, their 1s to 11s, everything. It's been brilliant. We've had probably one of the worst years of our lives, every one of us, and that has made this show one of the best ones ever. Certainly over the last 3 months, that the guests that we've had on the show has been absolutely incredible. And the fact that you only live just around the corner from Chris Brown means you can come in live one day.
Yeah. Can I just very quickly say I was wrong about Martin Granger? He did score past you at Craven Cottage, didn't he? That free kick.
That's the one I was kind of recollect.
Yeah. Sorry. I was thinking about the 2-2 and Brian Hughes and Stan Laz, because he mentioned Stan Lazaridis and Martin Granger. Yeah. I thought he was on about the same game, but no, Alan's referring to the free kick.
One goal, wasn't it?
Yeah. So sorry, Alan.
It's been the Tilton Talk Show on another Monday. We'll be back next Monday. Whether the social distancing allows us to get together in the studio or not will remain to be seen. When that time comes, you bet we'll be back there. Of course we will. Why not? Of course we will. Mike, wow. What a goalkeeper. Number one. Loved by every single Birmingham City fan that was out there. You know, the saves that you pulled off, the memories that you gave us. Thank you so very much indeed. And you've been an absolute pleasure to talk to tonight. A legend of our football club. That football club is ingrained here. It's tattooed here, right? It's in here. It's been passed down to me from my fathers, passed down to my children. Not my daughter, she don't like football, but my three boys. You know what? Birmingham City is our life, and you've been a part of it. And I thank you so very much indeed, mate. Nice one, Maik Taylor!
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, mate.
You didn't fight, you did with Mike.
No, never.
No, but it's like this is what we do every Monday. 4 blokes in a room, chat Birmingham City, and then the audiences that we have. Well, tens of thousands of people listen to the show all over the world.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Still on now.
Sorry.
We're still on now.
Yeah, we're still live.
We're still on.
No swearing.
No swearing.
Someone's knocking at the door. He wants letting
Not
in.
Channel 4.
We're not.
Let me go. Let me go.
Let
Let him in.
in.
Has he gone off? No, he's still there.
Ladies and gents, thanks ever so much to Paul Hipkiss
Thank you very much. Pleasure as always.
and for Nat Peters.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us the last few weeks. Nat, all the very best in everything you do, my good friend, and you're welcome any time. Know that.
Thank you very
Mrs.
much.
Brown.
Good night.
And from myself, good night, keep right on, and of course, the one and only Maik Taylor.
Right.
Who are ya? Who are ya?
Dear. Yeah, Mike, thanks